It has been a couple of weeks, but I'm back. I think I just needed to take a minute and process everything that's been going on and get some stuff done. And so I've just been quietly working away here. Today, we're gonna continue on that first large piece. We are making very, very good progress on it. Since I last spent some time with you, I worked on a commission for a family that is currently expecting, and it was just a labor of love, and I really enjoyed creating it, and I created all of the plants for this piece. And so we have all of the trees done, we did that, and now I've made all 18 of the house plants. And when I tell you, they were a lot of fun. They were a lot of fun. But I just needed to like hide. Y'all know I'm an introvert. I love hanging out with you, but sometimes I really just gotta like hide, put in some headphones and like get lost in the details. And I feel like there was a lot of social output in January that had me feeling really depleted by the time February came along. And so I gave myself permission to just kind of like get back to the roots, put in a podcast, put in an audiobook, and get lost working with my hands. And that is where I have been. But I want to show you some of these plants so you can see. So we have made some progress on this, right? Like, I know it's messy because I haven't glued anything down. I actually think I'm gonna remake this building because I want to create more depth, but we have all of these little bits and pieces here, and I'm really, really thrilled about it. So let me show you some of these plants. I think I finally figured out how to do a snake plant, which might not sound super exciting, but it's super exciting to me. I'm just creating the different depth of it, right? And like, or the variation in color. So we've got a large snake plant. I did a lot of the pothos, I think is what I always say that word wrong, even though I have them in my apartment. But we've got like several of these little guys. They're so tiny. And that's one. And then you can see kind of like this is part of a vignette. Oops. But this is a shelf for one of the apartments, and it's got like books and plants because I think every space that people live in should have books and plants. And then I created for, I don't know if you remember our lovely childless cat woman, this beautiful redheaded woman. I know the color's always a little funky here, but I created a string of pearls to go in her apartment. And you know, in my experience, people who love cats really love cats. So she has a cat planter, but you can see, oh, and I'll show you one more thing, maybe two more things. We have a little jade plant here. There you go. And then just a bunch of little like, little bitty guys. And so that's what I've been working on. And it feels really, really good. It felt really good. When I started this, I knew that this was gonna take a long time because I really wanted it to be full of those really small details and invite us in. I don't know, it's like this vision that I have. So this has been something that we have been working on for a minute, but I think that I'm gonna be able to get it finished within the next handful of days. So currently, I didn't know how to start the rooms. I needed to take some time to really think about how I was gonna tackle this, and doing each window as an individual thing kind of felt daunting. And especially knowing that there's like plants and books within the spaces. So I ended up tackling it by like category, if you will. So we've got all of the plants done, and yesterday I started creating books for all of the bookshelves. There's a lot of bookshelves in these buildings, but you can see there's just like little bitty books with the pages, and everything always takes longer than I anticipate. So 2 days ago, I like watercolored the paper for this after I finished the plants, and then yesterday I sat down and I started cutting the correct widths and heights for all of the little books that we're going to have in these pieces. So now I I think today I'm just gonna make a bunch more of these books with pages in them, because here's the thing. Whatever I don't use for this piece, I will use for future pieces. So if anything, it'll just make the work go that much faster on the second and maybe even third community scene that we create. So I'm gonna put in my audiobook and we're gonna get to making some of these books with actual pages, and we're gonna see how far we can get. And then from there, it'll be creating the bookshelves, creating the vignettes. Once the frame comes in, then we can start putting it all together. But we are in the home stretch and I'm really excited. I don't know. Anyways, let's get going and let's get these books moving so that all that's left is the furniture and then, the paintings and stuff. So, all right, I'm gonna put in my audiobook. I'm currently listening to All the Colors of the Dark, and I'm actually really enjoying it. It's another book set in Missouri. Apparently I'm listening to a bunch of books set in Missouri. That's cool, I'm from Missouri. So I'm gonna finish this. I think I have 2 hours and 2 minutes left, and I think that's gonna be what I'm gonna permit myself to work on these books, and then from there we'll just keep moving. But let's get going. If you're new here, welcome. I am Alexis. I'm a full-time artist in Brooklyn, New York, and on this channel I share typically days in the life of a full-time artist. So that includes all of the art making and the inspiration behind my art, and when I can get out into the city, my love of the city. And if that sounds like something that you're into, I invite you to stick around. I'm convinced that one of the biggest lessons I am to learn in this life is patience. I never realized how patient I was until I became an educator. And now, as I pick up this second half as an artist, I have found myself working with the teeniest, tiniest little bits and bobs of paper. And there is absolutely that meditative aspect to it, but it is also a big test of patience. And as I undertook this project, this collection of significantly larger pieces, I knew that they were going to take a long time, and I knew that they were going to require a significant amount of patience. And for the last month, I have been saying that I think I'm just a day or two away from finishing this. And spoiler alert, I'm not, because I filmed all of this vlog a few weeks ago, and I kept telling myself that once I got the piece finished, then I would get to editing it. And wouldn't you have it that one day passed, and the next day passed, and then the next, and here we are. And it's been a few weeks, I think 2 weeks, and I'm only just now getting around to editing this vlog, because y'all, I'm still not done with this piece. I have had moments of great impatience and frustration, to be quite honest, that it is taking so long. However, when I allow myself a moment to step away and to just gain a little bit of perspective and new eyes and a breath of fresh air, I come back to it and I am just as excited as I was when I first started this. So I know I'm on the right track, and I am absolutely holding on to this lesson of patience, and that good things come in time and you can't rush it. And I don't know about you, but I know I am patient, but I also know that at times I can be incredibly impatient because I'm just excited about what's to come, or I'm just ready for that next thing. Starting to come together. Last night I made 2 bookshelves and it looks really cute. It's really rewarding to start to see it come together, and I am really excited to continue to play with some ideas that I have and to continue to fill out these spaces. So right now I think what I'm going to do is work on an Afghan We have some Afghans that my like ancestors made. So like I have this like green one on my desk that I think like a great aunt made or something. It was always in our house when I was a child. And then one of my like half sisters sent me one that my grandmother on my father's side made when my dad died, and it's black and it's neon and I love it. And so I'm gonna pull that for the inspiration for what I add into this building. I don't know, I'm really excited. I finished my book yesterday. I really loved it. I tend to be a little skeptical about fiction because I read a lot of nonfiction, and I find like I was a literature major in school, and so I've read a lot, and I can predict pretty easily what's gonna happen. And I find that I just get really annoyed with predictable storytelling, but all the colors of the dark was like compelling and endearing and just really enjoyable. So it's been a long time since I've read a fiction or listened to a fiction book that I really enjoyed. So take that for whatever you want if you're looking for a book recommendation. I'll show you what we got done on this piece last night and where we're at. And then I'm gonna play with an idea. I'm not sure if it's gonna work, but I think that's part of this process. I'm gonna play with an idea and see if I can get this quilt started. It's the layering of these bookshelves that has me so excited. I really love how they turned out with just a little bit of depth. I have had to learn time and time again the virtue of patience, because if I'm being truly honest with myself, I don't want to rush it, because I know that in my rushing, I will sell myself short. And so I am allowing things to unfold exactly as they should. And I'm allowing myself to take steps back when I start to feel that impatience bubble up, so that I don't rush it and end up with something that is inferior than what could have been if I had allowed it to just play out as it needed to. And so, I don't know, may this be some encouragement to you if you find yourself also in a state of impatience, and trust that sometimes the really good things require a lot more time. this is working. I make my quilt squares, and I've been trying to think about different ways to do that and to like work through that pattern. Still brainstorming, but for these like community pieces, I really want to create like really small quilts. But I think with the hole punch, I'm getting the effect that I want. And so, I don't know, I'm pretty excited about it. I think with this whole process, it's been a lot of fun to just like experiment and play and see what works. And so this is the first row of little granny squares, and I can't wait to keep building it out. So I didn't have one in this big piece, this first one, but I do have one in the second one. And I thought, you know what? I want to include one in this first one, in this first piece that I'm working through, because I want that to also be like a common element. And I have done something like this once before. There's a bar in the neighborhood that I really, really love that is like just a really incredible community space, and the owner of it is a phenomenal woman, also from St. Louis. And during COVID, she switched her business plan very quickly and just became like a lifeline for the community in a way that happened much faster than the rest of the businesses in the area and perhaps in the city. She was really, really quickly thinking. And so I created a little portrait of the business, and they have this like beautiful little tile when you first walk in. And so I did some tile work with these little dots on that piece for her. And it was a first attempt. It wasn't perfect, but it did the job well enough. I'm really excited to see how this continues to build, but I am pleased. I go into a lot of this experimenting not knowing if it's gonna work. And I think that is what kind of like holds me at a pause for a moment, right? Because I always fear of like wasting too much time in the experimenting, but I've realized more and more how important that is in this process. And so I'm glad I gave myself permission to just give it a try. So anyways, I started a new book today. So far I'm like, I don't know, but it's one that everybody's been talking about, and it's called I Who Have Never Known Men. I don't know, it's like highly recommended, or at least it's a book that I've seen a lot of people talking about, and we'll see. I'm a hard sell, and I'm pretty critical of like the first quarter of a book, you know? I have just started this. I am only, I don't even know, maybe a half an hour into this 6-hour book, but so far it's okay. I'm gonna keep listening to it. Maybe I'll just finish it today, because I know it's already like 3:30, but I know I mentioned Mario's gone, and it's been a long time since I've been alone in the apartment for like overnights, and I am looking forward to just kind of working and taking time to see how far I can get, you know, eat when I'm hungry, sleep when I'm tired. I mean, it's only a couple of days, but whatevs. I'm gonna have some more of my coffee and keep working on this, but I just wanted to check in and let you know that give yourself permission to play sometimes, because give yourself permission to play more, because sometimes it works out better than you would have thought. So I finished the first attempt, and I'm gonna include it because I think it works just fine. I'm pretty happy with it. Let me show you. So we have a little Afghan for one of the couches in one of the apartments. And now I can finish the rest of that room, but I'm gonna take a minute and make some dinner because I am hungry. And then after that, I think I'm gonna just keep working on this and see what I can get to come together. I stopped that book. I'm sure I'll go back to it, but I needed something that I could just like tune in and out of. So I'm onto a podcast, and that's what's happening. But my water is boiling, so I'm gonna go throw in some pasta, and then I'll get back to this. But I just wanted to show you because I've had this like idea in mind for a while, but it was one of those things that I just got stuck on. So I'm glad that I have started troubleshooting it, and I think that that's part of it. And I don't know, I am not letting go of this idea of the quilt and being able to rebuild or create what we envision for ourselves, right? So knitting together that new quilt for society. And I think this is another one of those symbols that I'm really happy to include in this larger piece. And I don't know, I don't want to get too like whatever about what it is that I'm creating, but I am really intentional with what I include. And so this is just another element of that. But yeah, thanks for hanging with me. I want to go make some food and see what else gets done today. So I worked off and on until about 12:30 this morning. I was gonna say last night, but a little after midnight. And I made significant progress, and I'm feeling really happy. And I think I'm just gonna end the vlog here because we spent a couple of days together, and I need to get this vlog out. It's been a couple of weeks. Time always goes so quickly. But if you made it this far in the video, I want to thank you for spending your time with me. I truly am so grateful. And if you enjoyed spending your time with me, I would really appreciate it if you gave this video a thumbs up. And if you want to follow along as I share my life as a full-time artist here in Brooklyn, New York, I would be truly honored if you subscribed. I just want to say thank you. And lastly, whatever time of day you watch this, I hope it's been a kind one. Until next time.